If you're anything like me, you'll relate when I say that when you were a child you loved to read, but now you just don't have the time. I genuinely used to love reading so much. Like, if you ask me if I read a book, I probably have. And anything to everything I would read. And I know to some people that reading is kind of cringe, but it was really fun. But after lockdown, so year 8, 9, so that was when I was 12, 13, I would just stop reading. I would use the excuse that I didn't have any time. But when I used to read a book every week, but now in a whole year, I hadn't even read a single book. The joy of reading had disappeared from my life. And I really thought about this because I still had the desire to read. Like, amidst all this, I still wanted to read, but I just said to myself that I didn't have time. But if you really think about it, it's because we were forced, as we got older, to read things that we didn't want. Whether it was 1984 in English class or the science textbooks, reading is meant to be free. It's meant to be a way to captivate our imaginations, but school made it so we had to read things we didn't like. And I'll use this analogy here. It's like TikTok. When you first open TikTok and you have a fresh account, it doesn't know what to recommend you, so it recommends you all this random like cringe posts that you don't really like. But as you use it more and more, its algorithm quickly catches on about what you like, so it only recommends things that you would click on and you find it enjoyable. It's the same with reading. You would only read things that you find enjoyable, not what would please everyone else. Not this new account, this fresh algorithm that forces you to watch things that you don't want to watch. But reading at school or when your parents force you to read things you don't want is the exact opposite. I still remember that my mum would force me to read Moby Dick, Macbeth, all these like really old books, and I would genuinely hate it. I couldn't even understand what they were saying half the time, and it kind of made me lose my passion for reading. And there was a study conducted about children and drawing. When these children drew a picture, they were given a reward, but when this other group were drawing, they weren't given a reward, and these children began to stop drawing. And this is the same about reading. When you expect a reward from reading and you don't receive this reward, you're going to stop reading. But the real way to find the desire to read and make reading fun is to firstly read what you want to read about. Because I'm not saying that you should only read what you like, because obviously if that were the case, I would have had to keep on reading like Diary of a Wimpy Kid and really easy books. But because I know people who genuinely hate reading in itself. So we're with those people, and if you're one of those people, you should genuinely just start by reading things that you like, and then push yourself slightly outside of your comfort zone and read other things. And as I mentioned before with the study, reading should not be associated with an instant reward, because that would make you lose interest and you would stop reading altogether. And you should think about it as more of a stepping stone, and it builds a bridge for you to link with that kind of person you want to become. So for example, if you read about sleep, how to better your sleep, you're obviously having a natural interest and you're going to try it the next day. And you shouldn't expect by reading this book to have an instant reward and it will better your sleep. It's more about building up your knowledge, and it's a bridge to get to that better sleep. And I often get comments asking, why do people always say that reading changes your life? It's because that books are valuable because it's wisdom that someone else has written down. And as you know the saying by now, a wise man learns from the mistake of others, and the book perfectly encompasses this. A book is something that a person has sat down to write about their wisdoms, and especially these non-fiction self-help books, they're giving back to you. And you're actually sitting down and devoting your time and attention, which not only fixes your attention span, but it really sparks an interest in something. And you should try reading in chunks of time, because if you only read for like 10 minutes to put it down in 10 minutes, you're not actually going to absorb any information. So that could be a mistake that you're making when you're reading, not actually devoting enough time in one setting to just read the book. And I know that reading seems tedious and this seems kind of pointless to say, but that's only because you're not reading what you want. I used to think that buying books was wasteful, but when you're interested in a topic, it's such a good investment. And I hope that in the comments you can say like what books you found useful to help other people find books that are really useful, because once you start reading and you really find a topic that you enjoy, I can promise that reading books can really change lives.